Welcome into this week's episode of Unrolled Stories, a weekly D&D campaign set in the world of Elmoria. We are back with these wonderful humans. Sadly, Sarah is feeling a little bit under the weather, so can't join us this week, but hopefully she's feeling better soon. To roll some dice, attempt some questionable accent, and hopefully tell a decent story. We're going to get through our announcements nice and quick at the top because we're running a little late, so this episode might be a little short. But, as always, if you like dice or want beautiful handmade wooden tabletop accessories, then do go check out Dakota Irish for all of your D&D and other tabletop RPG needs. Whether it's a new set of dice for a new character or a fresh dice tower to hopefully get some better rolls, which I personally know very well as a player, head over, there'll be a link in the description, and use the code the Welsh DM at checkout to get yourself a nice 10% off your order and help support the channel. Runic Press, its monthly zine, is bouncing around. There'll be a new one at the end of this month. We're currently working away at it now. If you want to get hold of a bunch of TTRPG content to fuel your creativity when it comes to preparing your sessions, then do go check it out on Patreon. Again, there'll be a link in the description below, whether it's wondrous landmarks, slightly useful tables, or much more content besides. As a reminder, you can listen to Unrolled Stories as a podcast for all of your commuting needs. I know Emma deeply loved it for catching up on the last couple of episodes.
She's loved it so much, she's
run away. If you do listen...
So fast and so far.
If you do listen to the podcast, please do leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Because it helps other people find the podcast.
And then she just ripped the laptop in half.
Lastly, in this game, we do make use of the Reimagined Classes that are available on the DM's Guild as a bundle, allowing you to embody Balrick, Lesley, Aderyn, or Ximori at your own tables. And as always, NPC art and character art was done by the wonderful Erin Angelini. Check them out on Patreon with their Art Venturing Guild. And Chibi battle map art, if we have some combat, was done by WeTheDreamingDesigns. So do go check out those artists and support real, living, breathing artists instead of AI. With all of that said... I think it's time to continue telling our story. Last time out, you were all hanging around the Empty Fish Tavern and, among other things, invented the concept of a fashion show / drag show / talent contest, which went exactly as you would expect it would. Bitchiness, sabotage, and rats galore, leading eventually
there were no survivors.
to Aderyn winning it at the death with a flagrant subversion of the premise and a scathing remark on the worship of the dragoness. Next morning, after various sexual escapades for certain members of the party, a package arrived from you from Togrim containing a bag of holding and a couple of healing potions and a sending stone to allow you to communicate with him should you need to for anything. Essentially, Togrim has now become your man in the chair for this campaign. And then you got on the road in the rain, and everything was going well on the major road. The rain, just a mild inconvenience, until you came across a crying child at the crossroads for the town of Kirudona. The child spoke haltingly of a horrifying event the night before, and so you took a detour to head to the town and find out what happened, eventually arriving in the rain to an empty town, a broken town, and the signs of a vicious attack everywhere. Which is where we will pick up. The town is silent, other than the creaking of doors caught in the wind and the sound of rain falling heavily on the rooftops. Scattered in the mud are a handful of bodies, a few limbs severed and scattered around, and one carcass you can see being picked at by a pair of wolves. The mud is slick with both rain and blood, but mercifully, the dampness in the air is reducing the smell. What would you like to do?
I think Leslie's going to make sure that the dog is inside the cart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Park the cart. I'm assuming Aderyn is quite in shock from the sight as well. I'm going to leave Aderyn with the child in the cart.
Aderyn's going to keep them entertained, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't want... Aderyn's in a fragile mindset. We're not allowing Aderyn to see this carnage.
Yeah, Aderyn did
She'll probably have lots of child-appropriate stories.
Yeah, Aderyn had a pretty traumatizing dream the night before, then woke up with coins on her eyes, implying that she was dead. So she is not in a great state.
Just the combination of everything. It's just been a
Yeah, it was
been
bad
a
timing.
lot.
It was bad timing on Tauri's part.
After having died recently as well, you know.
Yeah,
Trauma
first
on trauma.
time and everything.
I know.
I should probably scare those wolves away, at least they stop eating the bodies.
Roll me an intimidation check.
I get to use strength for my intimidation because of my feet, which therefore makes this a roll I can use with my dominant strength.
Yeah.
So that is 1, 2, 14, 18. I can have my strength modifier as the result. Oh, okay, that's what I have my strength modifier as the
No,
result.
for an experienced D&D player, I
Right,
expect
so that is an 18.
18. Yes.
I have got many different bits that I'm working with.
Playing your class.
Yeah, make your class more accessible, Gethin. God.
It's not like you've been playing it for a year and a half.
Well, no, surely not.
Yeah,
Broken.
the wolves aren't hanging around. They're essentially scavenging at this point. They're in no mood to fight over this, so they very quickly back away from you, taking an arm with them that is ripped off the body, but otherwise than that, scamper off into the woodland.
Ximori, make yourself big.
So we arrive, we park the wagon up just outside the town. It's just carnage.
Pretty much.
Is there like a wall or the gate or anything, or like?
Yeah, is there a town wall, village wall?
No. This town seemed to be fairly kind of nestled away, open planned. I mean, this place is deep in the heart of the Empire, doesn't really...
It's in the heart of the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to...
Deck with the
the
wagon.
Deck will stay protecting as Aderyn support animal, but also protecting the Aderyn and the child. Do we want to ride the wagon into town, or are we just leaving it outside? And
I think it makes sense to leave it outside until we know.
Right.
Do we know the town is safe? Frankly.
Yeah. When I think you will like get out of the car and maybe have a bit of a discussion in private.
I think Arquen was on his horse anyway.
I was on Mortimer, but I will leave them with
Mortimer?
Mortimer.
When did everything get names? Okay.
Last week.
Lesley can have a horse. We've got 4 horses.
We've got 4 horses.
Extra.
4 horses.
No, you have 3 extra, because
Oh, no.
Arquen's claimed one.
Yeah, I got one and 9.
Balrick's getting the wagon.
Yeah.
And Balrick should not name anything else. That's that.
Yeah.
We would just call it
Don't bother.
horse.
Don't try.
It would just be
Better
horse.
horse.
Cool idea.
I mean, I've called
What's
mine
the-
Blackmane in Elvish. So
Well, we know
you've named it after what it is. I've named it after what it looks
we
like.
know what the next death of the party is.
Don't name
No,
anything
we've
else.
also named the pack horse. And Dex got a name. What?
There is a loud eagle cry and a rock descends from the mountains.
So
I think we should ride the horses into town because it gives us a mobile advantage.
I
mounted
think,
combat.
given
Yeah.
how muddy it is, and also the fact that how much military knowledge does Balrick have?
Not a lot. Most he's had is like a town guard sort of experience.
Well, you don't want to be on a horse in in streets. Yeah.
So did the kid tell Lesley anything? Sorry, I listened to the last session, but I don't remember if I was told everything.
Yeah,
Did the kid tell Lesley anything pertinent about the attack that he can now share via you?
Yeah. The kid gave you bits and pieces in a very frightened child, semi-repressed trauma element. The fragments that you get out talk about an attack in the middle of the night, hearing sounds of or cries of alarm and the clashing of weapons kind of thing. The main thing that you did get out of it was he caught sight of one of the creatures that attacked. Talked of like a pale face with bloodshot eyes and like sharpened fanged teeth that were just that terrified him, and his parents told him to run, and so he ran essentially. And
I think we put together based on that and the mill. We went to a mill and it was quite destroyed, wasn't it?
Lumberyard, yeah.
Well, it wasn't destroyed, it's just there was no one there.
No, it was like abandoned, and there was stuff. I think Balrick put together that it was either this specific tribe of cannibals from the north, or vampires.
Or a third thing we've never encountered before.
Or a third thing that
multiple Ximoris.
Or multiple Ximoris. Ximori is pale, fanged, and violent. I think Balrick will go to Liz, get armed. Let's head forward as a group. Tauri, are you coming with?
Yeah, makes sense.
Alright, you stay in the middle. You know, you're most vulnerable, but I think you've got some of the best eyes, so you keep an eye out.
I'll take the front.
I was going to say, you're the most armed.
I'll take one side then, I guess.
Hey, Lesley, did you say you'll take the rear? Just is that for tactical reasons, or just so you can look at everyone's ass?
Better not to ask. Better not to ask.
Right.
Things can be two things.
I'll take. I was going to say I could take the rear as a, I'm fairly on alert.
Sure.
You take the rear.
What do we get on perception checks? 25. Chris?
I did not get as high as that. 10 plus whatever I've got.
So
10 plus 16.
So what you get as you kind of step into town is you get a general feel for the town, and it's the air of a mining town that is also a lumber town. It's very much a working man's town, is what this place is. You can see leading up away from the back of the town as you enter it, the Mora foothills and a couple of like switchback paths leading up into those not mountainous areas. Kind of the Bracken Beacon's size is what you're kind of looking out into the back. To one side of the town, there is a storage shed that has a kind of couple of wagons outside. You assume, based on kind of its layout, it's used for the storage of wood and other kind of lumber supplies. Further to the back of town, near these paths that lead up into the foothills, are more robust sheds with metal carts sitting outside. You assume they're used for mining of some kind. Most of the buildings here are made out of mud bricks built around wooden frames that you can see. And you can also see, slightly above the town, looking down upon it, the town's chapel. With your perception check, Arquen, from this distance, you can see that is heavily damaged. More so than really any of the other buildings seem to have been. Doesn't look like the buildings of this town have been aggressively damaged. What does look like damage is doors and that kind of thing to open them. The chapel, though, looks worn.
Does it make sense to Arquen that if such a place were to come under attack, people would probably rally to, the chapel as a large defensible stone building?
It's an assumption. It does entirely depend. Give me a straight.
Yeah.
Just give me a straight intelligence check.
Hoocha! Not as good. 15.
15.
Total, -1.
It's definitely It's definitely a building that would be able to hold the entire townspeople. So it's entirely possible.
So whether they had the time to
Whether
get
they had the
there.
time, especially since it's a little on the outside and like up a slope, maybe not, but possibly.
Interesting. I'm assuming, sort of looking in any of the buildings, we don't find any survivors.
Do you start spreading
Also,
out and looking into buildings?
Yep.
I think it'll probably be best. Also, like, presumably this place, you know,
We
has.
do not split up.
I was
No,
a bit spread,
no.
like not split.
You're always
Yeah.
in
But
island.
I would
This
have
place,
been
has
Yeah.
like, you know, or had outlying like pastures for sheep and stuff. Does it look like they've been carried off, slaughtered, anything, or has it just been the people have been killed?
You can roll me investigation checks. Anyone who wants to look around.
I tell Balrick, who I know is very good at this sort of thing, who should have been a detective in a different life.
There was
to
a moment.
have a look around.
Don't worry, Arquen, I've got you.
There was a
No, no.
moment.
How about you and I, Ximori? We go and look at these colouring books.
That's what I'm going to say. Let's make sure we buddy up. Let's have pairing systems. We'll buddy up. No one goes off alone.
There are 5 of us.
You big boys, you go off on your own. Me, Lesley, and Tauri will go off separately.
So we're
not
having
one
the
of the
brains
boys.
and the brawn. Is that how we're doing
No,
this?
you have Shaggy
Wait.
and Scooby, and you have Fred, Daphne, and Velma. And yes, Lesley is Daphne.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm repeating
Hey,
my
Ximori, I
statement.
found this
My
bag of
statement still
herbs.
stays there. Because that is how
That's
that's
how it
fitting.
works.
You
have the
cannot
brains and
convince
the
me
brawn.
that analogy doesn't
Look,
work. It works
no, what's
very
it?
well.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
find
agree.
it. I'm still gonna find the monster.
We
We're
will-
gonna leg it from the monster. We're gonna build a trap.
We will be able to
Always bring the
survive
nuts and go
whatever
after
Anyway,
we come across until you get
it
there.
doesn't need to be another life with the detective because you weren't there. But there was a moment where me and Tolgrim had a buddy
Hey.
cop up. So we had a scene.
Developed a
Did you?
drinking problem, got
Remember
himself a
is
revolver, the whole
Investigating the
shit.
displaced beasts.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Tolgrim did buddy cop.
God, that was a long
I
time
found
ago.
a trench coat and hat for you. I think it would fit you most, Balrick.
I don't know what you're saying, Hugh. I was talking.
I was just like, hey, in this house I found a trench coat and a hat. I think they'd fit you, Balrick.
It's a big trench coat. That's like 5 goblins.
Anyway, Shaggy and Scooby, one of you roll investigation with advantage.
Yeah.
I don't know how the 3 people want to handle it, but
What are we rolling?
do what you want. Investigation.
Investigation, I think. So.
I got
Both
-1.
roll
I don't know
roll
about you.
advantage. I've also got -1, unless there's spooky stuff happening.
I'd call this spooky.
You know what? I
Yeah,
will
then
give you a D4.
Spooky bonus.
Spooky bonus.
Bast has information.
Spooky bonus.
With advantage.
With
advantage.
Because I'm also
Am I rolling investigation for the other group as well?
I'm not sure who's best at it, me or you.
I've
Bulwark.
got expertise. I've got
Okay, you are better than me. I've got a +5.
I got 25 total.
So that's a 20 for 19,
I'm an investigator. That's Balrick's role.
You got a natural 20.
or a 1, or a 2. No, I got an unnatural 20. My total that I rolled was 20, so it's 19.
19.
Yeah.
And also, I rolled 2, so it's 1. So 19 is the one we will take for this.
We'll take the 19. Definitely Arquen starts getting distracted, and you're going to get distracted, but then Bast just appears in your head and goes, "No! What's this?" And like draws your attention to the side. But we'll come back to you in a second. The 3 of you,
25.
25. You're looking around, and you explore like a lot of the buildings to check like the nature of the attack. You come across, as I say, you notice the chapel up at the outskirts of town, but within town you come across a blacksmith's forge. That interesting to your eyes, Tauri. There's no like ignition method for this forge. There's a furnace, but there doesn't look like anything that would ignite it in this forge. The thing that you find actually interesting is you head over to the kind of metal corrugated iron like storage shed, which, unlike a lot of the other buildings, has metal doorways, which you can see were ripped open by some kind of concerted effort. Inside, there are shelves containing a bunch of kind of ore and mining equipment, some of which looks ransacked. Oh, the other thing I will say is there does appear to be a couple of bodies outside this storage chamber, as it were, of seemingly like fairly burly looking men holding or were holding pickaxes of some kind, seemingly like miners trying to defend this space. But inside there is like a lot of the shelves have been kind of like swept and ransacked. There's definitely with a 25 signs that carts that were in and around this have been dragged away. There are cart tracks essentially. And you also find, completely untouched, a desk in this room containing paperwork, logbooks, etc. that you assume is like the miner's logs. Looks like whoever ransacked this had no interest in that stuff, was only interested in the materials that were in it.
This isn't like a bandit raid or anything like that. This is very violent. So they're not interested in information, purely in the materials, did you say?
By the looks of it, yeah.
Yeah, because they left the logs. They just took everything. Material.
I'm gonna just like, if we can just wait here a moment, and I'm gonna do a ritual cast to detect magic, just to check if there's.
We're inside the building, aren't we? So
yeah.
I'll station up on the door when the eyes.
It's still raining fairly heavily
But I'll
outside.
also if there's nothing in here, then I'll obviously go around in case there's anything that pings.
While
Detect
Tauri,
magic radar, as it were.
while Tauri is casting that, the two of you, Bast draws your attention to something. You've noticed that around the town, there are obviously a number of dead bodies. The thing that definitely clocks in both of your heads, coming from, at least Ximori, coming from a settlement of similar size, in like a long time ago, the number of dead bodies here is smaller than the population of the town. While there are a number, it is not the entire populace by any means. Most of the bodies that are left here seem to be town guard, but many of them have had armour and weapons stripped off them, fairly roughly, leaving some pieces behind in a haphazard manner.
Does it look like anyone's been gnawed on? Except by Carrion, obviously.
Sure. You roll me a medicine check, while Andrew, what Bass draws your attention to is a dead figure that's a little different from the rest. Not really a little different, significantly different from the rest. You can see them laid out next to one of these town guard-like figures, wearing roughly beaten metal plates, like nailed to boiled leather to act as some kind of armor. Their arms are bare, exposing the pale skin, like this white, almost sickly pale skin, in which you can see a number of like barbed hooks that are like hooked in through their flesh, like barbaric piercings almost. as you walk over closer to it, you can see that its face is laid in a rictus, almost satisfied grin, with numerous puncture marks in its torso from blades. Its eyes are still open, staring to the sky, completely bloodshot. And that grin is made up of sharpened teeth that look like the fangs of a shark or something like that. Arquen, what did you roll for medicine?
24.
24. You take a look around. It looks like a few of them seem to have what you would constitute as bite marks. They are almost animalistic, like bite and tears of flesh. With that size of medicine check, it isn't done.
Not a I am eating, more of a I am attacking in combat with my mouth as well.
Exactly that. You also get that's a really high roll. You take a look around at some of these dead bodies, especially the ones that are more civilian. A lot of them bear a number of wounds, which is odd. Like town guards getting number of wounds, that's them trying to defend themselves. These are people who have been attacked multiple times with no chance of defending for themselves. Like someone is inflicting wounds to deal pain before killing them. That's what you get.
Yeah.
I think this was ones that attacked. I'll just kick it over onto its back.
Yeah. I'll do a divine sense just to tell if it's a celestial or undead in any way.
You don't get any of that from this corpse at this point.
Yeah.
You don't know whether that's just because it's an undead corpse, or whether it's because it isn't one of those. It could be that a dead undead doesn't come off as undead.
Yeah.
But Tauri.
I'll take my dagger and just sort of just have a look and see if it's rotted in any way other than,
Sure.
Undead rotted or dead rotted.
Yeah, no worries. You carve into its flesh. There is a small trickle of blood that comes out of it, implying it was very much alive and hasn't been dead long enough for it to kind of fully coagulate. The insides look normal as far as you can tell. You're not entirely sure how you have this information, but a little... It's hard to put your thumb on it. Wrong. Like, they're put together wrong. Like, the cleanest way I can explain this is like the spleen is in the wrong place kind of concept. Like, it's just, it doesn't quite fit the way it's meant to fit.
Yeah. I'll have a look at it, have a proper look at its teeth and sort of look at its ears, see if there's any sort of differences in its skull shape or anything, like, just see if it, like, because it, it looks to me like a regular humanoid, but there's, done a bit of cosmetic surgery to itself. I'm just sort of getting a general idea of what it actually is.
Sure. Roll me a nature check based on your knowledge. And while you do that, Tauri, eventually your detect magic spell completes. Other than the faintly magical glows of your companions' gear and what you have, nothing in this room pings as a magical object by any means. But do give me an investigation or perception check, your choice.
Okay. A natural 20 for 25 or 24.
Fair enough.
In 25 for investigation. 24 for perception.
You do a thorough look around. The investigation eats a little into your time with detect magic, but it's an hour of detect magic anyway, so it's not going to be too bad.
10 minutes.
It might
It's
only
only
be
10 minutes.
10.
It's 10 minutes.
It eats into a bit of
10
time to be thorough, but by being thorough, you do get something, and to call it magic is wrong. There's like a stain on one of the shelves, essentially. Like something was there that kind of bled. It's very hard to put your thumb on it. Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. 16.
You've not been using magic a super long time. You've not come across anything that's like this. It's odd. That's for sure. But the one thing you are certain of, the thing that caused it, is gone.
Yeah, I'll point it out to Balrick in case he knows anything more. Especially if it's like blood or anything, he might be able to work out a way to track it better.
Nick, can I make a roll about it?
Sure.
Essence of some kind. As well.
It's still an Arcana check, I'm afraid, as to the nature of this. So roll me Arcana to see what you know.
I'm not proficient in it, so can I make, even if I fail this, a sort of can I make a survival or investigation check to be able to recognize it in the future?
Yeah. Give me the Arcana check first, and we'll see how this plays out.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
18 plus 2.
Here's the problem. Tauri points at something that you can't see.
Points at something that
you can't see. Discord being Discord. Give me a second.
I can't see.
Gonna keep talking. Yes.
Yeah.
You point to something that you can't see. It is something that only is appearing in her detect magic vision.
Oh, there's nothing there. It's purely you can see like magic, can't you? At the moment, so it's purely magic what you're looking at.
Yes.
I've got no idea. I can't track it. I can't see it. I can't.
Leslie's gonna bustle over and say, "Oh, Balrick, it must be your old eyes. Let me have a look. Let me have a look over here."
Roll me investigation if you want.
Investigation.
He can investigation Arcana.
That was. I accidentally rolled with advantage, but I got 2 nat 20s. The gods wanted Lesley to have this one.
Lesley takes a look.
Lesley still might not be able to see it,
and
though.
with an nat 20, there's nothing there.
There's definitely nothing there.
Oh, my bad.
For real,
Sorry,
there's
Balrick.
nothing there.
What I'll give you with a nat 20 to honour the nat 20 is you can see the scuff marks of something that was there that like got dragged through this metal shelf, which implies that it was a hard enough material that it manages to like scratch iron, steel.
Oh, cool. Tauri, I didn't realise you could see into the past. That's amazing. I think there was something here.
Leslie's like complete misunderstanding of magic constantly. Like, we tell him what the magic does, and he's like, "Oh, so it did this different thing."
Who teaches Lesley these things?
We'll jump back to the other the other side of town, quote unquote.
Whoa.
The camera.
I was going to ask if I could ask an advantage from Ximori to give, just come down and sort of give me a hand, use their knowledge to understand anything.
Yeah, I'll give you advantage on something before I go do my thing.
Fantastic. 15. Better.
15. From your interrogations of the creature, it is a humanoid of some kind. The bone structure's a little weird. It's not quite elven, it's not quite human, it's But I mean, genetic lineages, it could be a dwarf-human hybrid kind of thing. You yourself are a hybrid of two races. Like, bone structures are weird.
Pure elf, baby.
Well,
Ish. My parents was both elves.
What were you going to go do?
What I would like to do is see if there's a sort of sturdy-looking building.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I've done the roll ahead of time for you. I jumped 32 feet into the air.
Okay.
straight up, just down.
It has to be a long jump, so I have to, like 10 feet movement forward first before I jump onto its roof.
Hey Ximori, where do
on the ground.
What the fuck?
And I just like to sort of look over the town from a higher vantage point.
Ximori can
And
teleport.
basically see signs of movement, signs of continued life, or signs of where, like, it looks like the walls have broken outwards, or where people have left.
Okay, make me a
Basically,
perception.
where did they flee if they have fled?
Make me a perception check.
That is a 13. 14, sorry.
Okay.
That's 3.
14.
14.
In your quick glance around town, two things occur to you. One, it's an impressive jump. The chapel is still higher up and would provide, a permanent look down if you wanted to do this more efficiently. But with that actual perception check,
Have to climb it like Ezio.
you take a look around. It's hard to tell from this vantage point about stuff being broken outwards in that way, because a lot of these doors just seem to be open anyway, and maybe they were ripped open outwards. You're unclear, but you do spot some movement at the tree line, just to the north of town. You came in from the west.
Okay. I'll sort of shout down to Arquen, there's movement at the north! And then I start heading off over rooftops.
Let's head to the chapel. Oi, chapel.
Chapel
Which is,
Road.
I believe, to the north side of town anyway.
It's to the northeast of town, because it's into the mountains a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll start heading off over the rooftops.
Yeah.
Like a
Heading on the ground.
horrible beast man that I am.
But for most people it would be tricky. This town isn't that
most
clumped
thatched
together,
roofs.
but you've got an insane jumping ability, so it doesn't matter.
Unfortunately, most thatch roofs not made for the predations of a fucking massive elf.
Like, you know,
Join me on the
in
ground
my Kung
after
Fu
you.
Panda where Tai Lung's running around. It's that sort of like.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you join me on the ground after you end up in someone's fucking like living room.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, we'll head towards the chapel, I guess.
Do you head to the chapel?
We'll give a shout to the others to let them know where we're going, but we head up to the chapel.
Okay, you head up to the chapel.
Kaka! Kaka!
The first thing you spot as you head up to the chapel is there is a singular body about 10 feet in front of the small flight of steps and the doors that lead into the chapel. Which is the thing that mainly draws your attention as you're approaching it. The other than that, the chapel itself is a solid stone building, clearly carved out of the stone from the hills, in the classic Jadenite church style of having large kind of open arches high up that let in ambient sound to create decent harmonics, and is veritably circular in design to ensure that kind of resonance inside.
Basilica style.
Yes. The doors are open, ripped off their hinges, essentially.
Okay.
Body. Yeah, fuck character voice. Right.
That wasn't far off. I suppose have a look at the body, see what kind it is, while I'll sort of provide cover in case anything comes rushing out of the
I'll
doors.
sort of slink towards it.
Sure. You see as you get closer up,
Like an ape.
it is the body of a kind of portly dwarven priest wearing the kind of cloud white vestments with jade green detailing of a Jadenite church priest, face down in the mud.
I will turn them over onto their back.
It is... Ximori, I almost want to make you roll a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay.
Within 10 feet of me?
It's
so
a natural
not
20,
full.
so 24.
Fuck yeah.
There is a momentary flashback to that night in Geodothras. Until you just come back.
Where you bit someone's face off? No.
Where someone's body was brutalized to the point of, for lack of a better term, desecration. This poor dwarf has had their beard roughly cut off, leaving a massive gash on the face where the skin has come off as well. Numerous lacerations all over their body. It is, to someone like you, whether you know it or not, it is the sign of someone being brutalized and tortured. And it is not a fun thing to witness.
Whoever did this, they weren't just killing; they were enjoying it.
What I will give you, you rolled very well across various spaces. While the bodies in the town were similarly attacked in terms of like wounding wounds rather than killing blows, this takes it to another level. This individual had...
This has had special attention.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll light my my lantern and start like waving it to and fro to just get the attention of the rest. Just to say, it's like we probably shouldn't advance further without them.
I'll just sort of close what's left of his eyes. Sort of put him in a proper position for a priest.
Do a perception check as well, just to make sure there's nothing sort of hiding inside the church.
Yeah, I'll look around for a tarp or something.
Another 25.
Another 25. Ximori mentions to you to find something to kind of cover him up with as you kind of look around and inside the church. Thankfully, there does appear to be no signs. It does appear that whoever was here has gone. Taking a look inside, the inside of the chapel is fairly open space like most chapels. Trashed. Someone has gone through and any effigies, any mosaics or reliefs have been broken asunder. There are tapestries that have been torn and somewhat burnt. It looks like they tried to set a fire in here, but the rain and the open kind of avenues in here made sure that no extreme fire took. There's a couple of small tapestries that might do to cover up a dwarf's body in here.
And no signs of people having sheltered here.
No. Roll me...
Where are the missing villagers?
I'll let you roll a wisdom check on this. Straight wisdom.
Straight wisdom is a 14.
14. Based on...
It's my score.
Based on pieces of information and something you would have seen that the others would have noticed, or did notice earlier about minecart tracks that lead up into the mountains, is your assumption is the attack came from the mountains that would have made going to the chapel impossible. It was going against the tide kind of thing. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. And then almost certainly they went back the same way. Hence why there's movement to the north.
Again, to be clear, mountains to the
Arquen,
west. North is just more forest.
As the west.
Probably.
That was it, yes. Yeah. Arquen is, I think, feeling a little bit of the same sensation that caused, is essentially what caused Amhrain to do his thing. Is a great injustice has been done, and he is the force of reckoning that will be brought upon them. I'm just like, I guess I become the wild hunt today. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just wait for everyone to get here before we do anything.
Sure.
I'm gonna go get my big stick. So heading back out towards the cart to go and fetch the glaive.
The three of you, what are you up to?
Before you left, Balrick literally told you, buddy up, don't split up, don't be on your own. You two have gone and been on your own.
I thought we were in earshot. Leslie's been having like a lovely conversation with Ximori outside, but Leslie's just not stopped talking. So he doesn't know.
So we turn around just like, and leap.
So it's okay, he can get across the village in 30 seconds.
I'll be back real soon.
So we
back before you even know he went.
We didn't find anything else then. So we...
You had the logbook, you had that stain. You would have noticed the varying facts about the dead bodies as well. Depends what else you're looking for.
Did the kid say where his house was, out of interest?
No. But you can go back and ask him.
I mean, we don't... I think we haven't spotted anyone alive, so...
I think a kid deserves to know if his family are gone. A kid deserves his father's sword, his father's knife.
Let's head on back to the wagon. It's good to check on them anyway. And then I'll look up and I'll spot the light waving by the chapel and I'll go, right, quick then, because it looks like they've found something.
Yeah.
Go, let's all go. Tauri, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm all ready.
We'll head back to the wagon then, to the chapel.
Roll me a perception check as you head back to the wagon.
So we just sort of...
Everyone?
Everyone roll a perception.
The three of you
Everyone
who are
roll
heading back.
perception.
Ximori.
Can Lesley help?
I'm also heading... I was heading back to get my glaive. But...
Yeah, this is
Individual.
timelines.
Would they have
Okay.
also... Yeah. Would they have also spotted my lantern?
Yeah, I already said.
Cool.
I spotted it. We're heading back to the wagon to then go to the chapel afterwards.
Yeah, cool.
If we've, in fact, if we've realised, if we've cleared the town, like the town's not dangerous now, is it?
It doesn't seem to be.
No. Is there a clear road up to the chapel?
Yeah, it's a clear path.
Hey, I think we'll get the wagon and we'll ride the wagon up to the chapel.
Yeah,
I don't fancy leaving Aderyn and the kids just alone outside. the
Or
town.
Derek, our holy
And Derek.
symbol.
Derek's fine. Derek will be safe.
Thanks.
Derek can hold his own. Trust him.
Ooh, an unprotected wagon. Oh god. Wild magic and a fucking dragon.
Have you noticed, Lesley, his wings are coming in? He'll be flying soon.
Those little... Oh, yeah, of course.
Wings.
Does he actually have wings?
He does have wings. They're just
They're
smaller.
really
They're like,
Little-
like,
little
little
enough.
good ones.
Coming.
Like,
yeah. He
what
can't
about
fly
doing
yet.
the time that you're in How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
That have a like the
It's not known.
yeah.
So I remember having
No,
this
he does
discussion.
not. No, he does not.
I had this discussion with Sarah previously because we were discussing what the amethyst dragon in her dreams looked like. In my head, like the gemstone dragons in general don't need wings to fly. They're telepathic creatures, like telekinetic creatures. So like they can just use psionics to float. So a lot of them don't bother with wings. Wings are an entirely cosmetic choice for gemstone dragons. So some of them just do it for the like physical presence of it. Some of them can't be asked. And so Derek clearly is in that stage of like,
It's campus.
A lot of them have the like
at the moment,
the
he's got like one wing is starting to flex out, but the other wing's still small, and he's like just like figuring out.
yeah, a lot of them just do like Rayman style wings. They're just like not even fully connected to their body. They're just like floating crystals in the shape of wings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Every so often, Derek's wings migrate, and he tests out being a wyvern. He's like, "The work between like in the armpit." He's like, no.
Anyway, what were those perception checks?
He decides he's got too much of a wide set. He's standing up straighter though. We decided he's like moved up to like
13 from Lesley. Tauri?
Slink around as much.
I got a 24. Sorry, 24.
I got an 8. I'm too distracted talking about Derek's wings.
Fair enough. Tauri, you're switched on enough to notice there is, as you're walking back to the cart, there's someone else at the cart. There is someone else talking to Aderyn and the child at the cart. At a distance, it looks like a human woman, average height, auburn into brown hair, wearing, without perception check, fairly simple clothing that is torn, roughed up, muddy, having a conversation with Aderyn, and is actually on one knee, holding the child.
Balrick, there is a guest by your cart.
Oh, shake, and I'll pull my bar. I'll draw an arrow to the bow, and I'll shout from this far away, thaumaturgy wise. Halt! Who goes there?
They like freeze up mid conversation with Aderyn, and Aderyn just like flicks round to you, and she goes, like they freeze in panic, and Aderyn just flicks round to you, and you hear Aderyn's voice in your head, who's like, "Shut up!"
Oh. Alright. Don't mean any harm, just and quieter as we get closer. Don't mean any harm, just clearly on edge. Introduce yourself, please. I'm Balrick.
The woman turns around, seeing you now approached. Hessend, the small child, is still like somewhat clutching Derek, somewhat clutching this woman. This woman turns to you, kind of mud through her face. She's got a gash like across her face. Your instincts, Balrick, it's clearly from like a branch or brambles rather than a weapon of any kind. She looks at you and goes, "My name's Hirosa. I used to live here, and this is my son. This woman, Aderyn just turns to her and just says, Aderyn was telling me how you found him, and I just want to say that thank you for looking after him." And she's like partly trying to take in the town. She's like processing a lot of information right now.
Can we make insight checks into do I believe her?
Certainly, make me an insight check.
I know that these are humanoid things.
13? the amount of shock and exhaustion on her face feels like it would be hard to fake based on the brutal nature of this attack, that you don't think these kind of things that attacked would have this level of subtlety to pull off someone looking this scared, tired, and relieved at the same time.
And also the child is clinging to her.
Yeah, but whether it's like a converted or charmed or anything like that, I was just like making sure.
That's what Chris is saying.
Yeah. I'm like, just, alright, it's raining, it's pouring. Get inside the wagon, get yourself dry. Get under the shelter. We're about to move up to the chapel.
I can help with that, as Aderyn leads them in and starts prestidigitating them. Not thinking. There is an additional element of fear on their
We
face.
literally just dealt with this, Aderyn.
But to be honest, there's a whole load of emotion on there. They're kind of somewhat relieved to be dry, and they'll deal with the fact that arcane magic did that later. Most minor trauma in the last 24 hours.
We literally just dealt with this.
I'll get I'll get on the wagon. Lesley, Tauri, wagon or horses?
Lesley does want to ask a couple of questions about but I think all of us want to hear from her. So Lesley will help with the horses for now.
You're gonna get on a horse. Tauri?
Yes, I got a horse.
So
you're each riding a horse and guiding a horse. Yeah.
Yeah. So you start leading the horse and the cart through the town, keeping obviously their sight of various things hidden in the cart. You explain that you're going to meet up with friends up at the chapel. On the way up to the chapel, Ximori is walking down, and Ximori, you see this cart with all of the horses wandering up.
Oh, so there's me a journey.
Right, well, you waved the light, so...
Oh, yeah. Lesley, can you chat with my glaive? My big stick.
Yeah, Lesley shouts back. Yeah, if you give me back my dagger.
What dagger?
Another crossbow bolt embeds itself right next to the previous one. And then, yeah, Lesley grabs a big stick.
I assume that maybe it's on the hot. Maybe do you carry it on the horse?
Yeah, I'll put it on the horse that I claim, I guess. My horse is called Daelin.
Stop naming things, guys! He takes them away once we name them.
He's just writing, kill Daelin. I just sort of slung on the side of that horse.
Sorry. Lesley chucks it. Like a spear.
Make a dex save, Ximori.
That
Make a wisdom check first.
That is a 17.
Yeah, you just go to catch it and just launch it in your face.
I didn't think this through. I think before,
But eventually you lead the wagon
There is certainly
up to the chapel.
this was a poor decision.
Where Arquen has grabbed one of these tapestries and laid it over the body out front to give it a little bit of decorum, as the rest of you all pull up.
He's probably currently just sat on the steps, sharpening his sword with his honing stone. Probably has a little bit of a fayish glow to the eyes, and looks a little bit more, for want of a better word, wolf-like, it's just sort of there's something a bit more like predatory about him now. Just like the way his like eyes dart to things, and
while you're all
Sorry's
up
not letting
here,
that pass.
you would be aware that the altar itself was clearly like broken up at the back end from where the door is, and the chapel does also have what looked like a couple of outbuildings that you assume to be like the place where the priest would stay and sleep and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Probably, question who this new arrival is in the wagon, and tell everyone that good, and tell everyone that the chapel's been desecrated, and it's just like out of earshot of the child. It's just like and the priest was tortured to death.
Well, let's have a look then. We'll go inside. Might be that
Well,
the priest was tortured.
maybe
Well,
we
what
could ask the woman who might have seen more.
You do that. I think I want to have a look inside because I think that maybe there's. I mean, a lot of these chapels might have escape routes in them, maybe hidden. If the priest was tortured for information, it could be because he led an evacuation.
Maybe keep the T word quieter around the small child.
I do
What?
sort of.
Torture.
Torture. Yeah.
Oh,
that one.
okay. I thought you were talking to me then.
I said it quietly.
Yeah,
I do say-
I'm assuming you're having
I do
some
say to
level of
Balrick.
decorum and placement of this. The cart's like a few feet away.
Yeah,
you're
we're
by
having
the
a hushed
chapel doors,
conversation.
kind of thing.
The chapel
You
door.
can't be sure with us, let's be honest.
I do say to Balrick that because of like the attack came from this direction, the chances of someone having gotten out
Oh, the attack started here. Like went outwards.
basically would have cut them off from this location.
Maybe if there was a
I'll-
congregation at the time.
Yeah. While you're investigating inside, I'll go around the back and check the outbuildings.
Okay.
Go team, go!
No,
Respect to you.
Yeah.
Tauri, are you staying with the wagon, or are you coming inside? Or
Do you want to come with me?
inside, or-
Well, if Arquen is going by himself, it seems ludicrous to let someone go by themselves.
Who's staying?
Ximori,
Ximori,
you're
go with-
helping me interrogate a woman.
I mean,
Okay.
am I going inside alone then?
Or you can go with Balrick.
I'll go with Balrick, shall I?
So, Lesley, are you going to stay with the wagon then and with Aderyn?
I'm quite off-putting.
I think that's the correct move. I think I can be trusted with two beautiful ladies.
You see,
Like,
absolutely. You see what you can get out of her if she'll talk. Keep them safe.
Yeah, right.
Shout if
Talk
you need
with a
anything.
talk.
We'll start with
We'll leave the doors open. Acoustics in there are good, so
We'll start with you, Lesley, as you kind of climb back up into the wagon and explain what the others are going to go off to do. Aderyn has finished drying off this woman, Hirosa, and she's just kind of like holding Tessin close and just kind of trying to process everything as you kind of climb back into the back of the wagon.
Hirosa, I'm really sorry. I know you've been through, like, I can't imagine what you've been through today, actually. But, and I'm obviously, I'm so happy that you were able to find your son. I'm happy we were able to keep him safe. I would like to discuss some of the events, just because my friends have gone in. They're going to go and help, and I want to make sure that they're not getting into any easily avoidable danger. You know, if you could tell me anything you remember that you feel you can tell me about the events that led to this situation outside, and anything you remember from the attack, that would be great. But possibly, it might be best to talk about it without Tessin.
Yes. Certainly, I can step out. Tessin, just stay here. Aderyn will look after you for a little bit. I'll be right back, I promise. Tessin like is reticent to let go of his mother, but eventually like she like does pry the hands off, and Aderyn starts like playing with him a little bit, and Dare kind of just like kneels into it, and she like steps off to the back of the cart, takes a few steps away from it to discuss with you. I don't know much. We were woken up in the middle of the night to the shouts of the town watch. There were torches lit up to provide additional light. That wasn't normal from us, but and there were shouts telling people to get up and run. It's all a bit of a blur. I told Tessin
Do you mind
to.
if I ask
Yeah, please.
who was telling you? Sorry, I'm really sorry. Do you mind if I ask who was telling you to run? Was it like townsfolk, people you recognised?
My husband Esherin, he went to go kind of see what was going on, told us to run while we could. I never saw him after that. He was one of the miners in town. So we turned.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
From what bit?
From her husband went to go see what happening and told them to run, and then like what was his role?
He was a miner in town.
Minor. Okay.
Yeah. And so we turned and ran, and then we heard someone coming from behind us. Turned around. It was one of... I don't know how to explain it. It was a man as pale as the mist, teeth like a wolf. I don't think he saw Tessin, so I ran in a separate direction, hoping to keep him away. Next thing I know, he's distracted by something else, and I escape into the forest. Since then, I've been looking for Tessin all night, all morning.
You did good, man. Your kid's safe. You're safe. At the moment, that's the most important thing to you.
I can try and answer any specific questions if you have any. I don't know how much I know, but...
Is there anything we should know about the chapel? My friends seem to have... they seem to be quite interested in the chapel.
Yes, the chapel was run by the priest Zhao. He's been here since I was a little girl. Nothing particular about it that I say, but we had a travelling priest come through a couple of days ago. Said that he was here just to do some outreach, as it were. I don't know much more than that. I never spoke to him personally. He was I saw him. He was tall man, dark hair, well appointed. Carried a book with him everywhere he went. Thick, bound book.
Like the same book, or are you just saying he was very bookish?
No, it was always the same book. Seemed to always want to keep it in sight. Sorry, I don't know much more.
And are there... No, you've told me so much. Thank you so much for telling me this. But is there anything, like, are there any tunnels under the chapel? Is there anything that is there anywhere people could hide, maybe?
Not that I know of with the chapel, but I think a number of us fled into the forest. Where they ended up, I don't know. But forests seem to be the only means of escape, considering the direction they came from.
They came from the...
Yeah, they came...
South?
Came from the foothills, and she like points up to the foothills that are due west of you. It's weird. At times I thought I could understand them. There were shouts of seeming orders and things, but at other times they were speaking in some guttural language that, even if I could speak it, I don't think I would ever want to.
I think maybe it would be really good if you could stay with Aderyn for a bit. Her and Derek will keep you safe for now, and they can help you out with, I think, some rations, which I think you might need. If you maybe let me know which house might be yours, and if you can give me a description of your husband, we can keep an eye out if we find him.
Certainly. I'm not very hopeful. I don't think... We'll probably look to head to the bridge. See whether there's anyone who made it there. But, yeah. She gives you a description of her husband and points you in the direction of their house, so you know where those are. Lesley, the description of her husband was one of the bodies of the miners that you found defending the mining storage shed.
Mm-hmm. Leslie's not going to say this, but he is going to say, if we find your husband, do you prefer a burial or cremation? If we find your husband dead.
Sorry, mate. She opted for burial.
She should have said nothing, to be honest.
Burial, please. Yeah. And she then just leaves the conversation, walks back into the cart, and cradles Tessend. We will jump to Arquen and Tauri, heading around the back of the chapel to check out the small rooms. Yeah, there's a couple of kind of side buildings, not attached to the chapel, just kind of around the back from it. Interestingly, don't appear to have been broken into. They seem to have been out of sight from the front and not gained any attention.
I will listen out to detect any movement or sound or anything along those lines. Other than that, I'm kind of just here for Tauri's protection while she investigates.
Sure.
Arquen knows what he's good at.
We'll run with your passive perception because it's pretty great. Tauri, what do you want to do? There's two of these. There is one. They're both roughly the same size. One's a little smaller. Yeah. What do you want to do?
I'll focus on the smaller one for now. Have an investigation,
Okay.
and then go from there.
The smaller one, you look into it, contains a small desk and a very small bookshelf containing a number of pieces of scripture, by the looks of it. You estimate this is kind of a working room to kind of produce sermons, do research, and just general priest faith stuff.
Do I find anything
Roll me an investigation
at all,
check.
or just nothing? 18. No, 19.
19. It's got a fairly fresh pot inkwell on the table, implying it's been extensively used recently. The books in here aren't anything particular. As I say, largely just varying versions of scripture and holy texts that are like fairly common. Nothing that really draws the attention to you.
Okay, I'll move on to the bigger one then, and again, have a look around, see what I can find.
Bigger one, door is locked. Doesn't look like a particularly strong lock, but it is locked.
I'm going to turn to Arquen. That's a lock-picking kit to you.
Depends what you qualify as lockpicking.
Well, I'd rather not destroy the door if we don't have to.
Cut to a boot.
We can do this one way, or we can not do it. And I will basically jam my sword into the gap and just...
No check necessary. It's not like designed too much to be a significant obstacle.
It's just a little padlock.
You just kind of break the wood around the padlock essentially. And you enter in and you come into what is essentially a cloister, a small bed chamber. It looks like it's been quickly retrofitted to have enough space for 2 cots in here. You think based on the space it's clearly designed for 1 priest, but it looks like another bed has kind of been squeezed in here. Things have been moved around to allow space for a secondary priest. A couple of trunks at the foot of each bed for finding clothes and that kind of stuff. But it is just very much clear that there was a second individual staying here.
But is no longer here, presumably.
Is there anything interesting, any drawers or chests or anything?
As I say, there's a couple of trunks that seem to, as you open, contain clothes and various stuff like that. But again, priests don't tend to have a lot of interesting stuff. They're priests.
Hey, look, all I'm going to say is churches and priests do not have... Anyway, moving on.
They're a fairly Spartan religion.
Apparently.
It's not super Spartan, but like a lot of the tenets of the Jade Knight Church are about its community by figuring out yourself first and your role to play. So it is the priests are much better at finding out their role to play within the community without having certain distractions or other things to be doing, kind of thing, which is where that kind of fits in.
Yeah.
You know what the church is about? It's about community and beads. That's it, baby.
Beads.
Nothing
Got
but
the
beads.
To be fair, you would
Alright,
find an assortment of beads in here. There is a chest of various. Maybe each bead is worth 5 silver pieces of like fairly low grade stone that you would
It's more
assume
than Arquen has.
was essentially a stash for Tianlon and that whole festival that the priesthood could give out to the town. If you want to take it with you, I will.
If we get enough of these, we can make 1 bag of ball bearings. Sure, take those, take them beads, and then probably head back to the rest.
There are 26 beads, each worth half a gold in there.
That's almost tripled Arquen's money.
Not a necklace of prayer beads. That's something different.
Correct. We'll move the camera across to the two of you heading into the chapel. Ximori, as you go to cross the threshold, Bast comes to your mind. I wouldn't if I were you.
Ooh, do we have to?
What are you talking about? We need to investigate it. It's probably worrying for nothing. I step over the threshold.
That strong sense of discomfort that you felt standing on the cathedral grounds in Jirdothras washes over you upon crossing the threshold. Like your skin is in a full-on set of pins and needles.
No, don't like it. Something is... No.
You're struggling there, Ximori.
I'll sort of turn around on my foot and just walk back out again. Like,
all right, don't just stay in the doorway. Make sure you can see me. Then I just want you watching my back.
Yeah,
right?
I can see you.
Ximori, do me a favour. Roll me a religion check for Bast.
Ooh. Bloody hell, Bast's pretty smart, as it turns out. Plus a d4 for Bast. Bast is very smart, as it turns out. 22 on the dice.
Okay. Bast at the minute is giving you the silent treatment, but we'll circle back to that.
Okay, look. You're being dramatic. And I didn't know it was going to do that.
Balrick, you enter into this space that, as previously stated, is desecrated, broken, everything in here like it has been torn apart by an angry mob. And a very large crack placed through the stone altar that sits at one end of the chamber, that you can see the depressed bowl-like recess in the center of it where a bronze bowl is placed. But a large crack through the stone. What do you want to do?
Bronze bowl that's valuable.
It'll have some value. It is primarily like the center of the altar / religious sentiment, but whatever.
Is it strange that it's not been taken, is what I mean?
Yes. Like bandits would take something that's that worth money.
Yeah.
Horrible sentiment.
Well, I'm kind of looking around, like, I kind of want to go up to the altar because I want to look for, like, even in real life, a lot of churches have secret rooms, passages. Like in Spain, they tend to have these massive figures at the front where they have like they've got these secret passages through one of the paintings.
At least
you go to find out.
At least they do in the Da Vinci
Balrick thinks. Yeah.
No, they do in real life. I've been to one.
No,
it wasn't common.
Not common, but they do exist. So
no, it's fine. Make me an investigation check, then, please.
It fully depends if there's been a religious reformation in the history of the religion.
Spain very famously had a massive
Something of an inquisition, some might
Yes,
say.
I know. Hence why they had them. But that's why I said.
I saw at least 3.
Anyway, roll me an investigation check.
But anyway, I want to check to see if there's basically any secret passages. Say again?
Investigation. Check, yeah.
I've got a +8. 20, dirty 20.
It is also worth reminding everyone, in case I didn't say it at the end of last session, you do all have inspiration for the sheer tomfoolery of the rat walk. That is just useful for you to know that you have. I'll give it to Lesley as well, because it's unfair that Emma doesn't get it when her character helped me do the scarfs bullshit.
Leslie gets it for a rigorous night of exercise.
He is inspired by the orgy. I thoroughly enjoyed Emma just coming in slightly off screen there. Don't think we can ignore that. Sorry, what was the total? 20?
Just 20.
Just
dirty 20.
You're kind of investigating around, going like, someone would have put something here. What catches your eye, or more precisely, catches your boot, is one of the flagstones behind the altar is not flush with the floor.
Amazing. Can I attempt to pry it open?
Yeah, make me a strength check. I'll give you advantage because of Goliath bullshit.
Goliath. I was just about to say Goliath bullshit.
Activate Goliath.
That's the technical feature
Goliath
name,
bullshit.
by the way. It's in the official rulebook. It is Goliath bullshit.
That's a 19.
It's
It
amazing.
would have been a
That
10,
one's
but
not
Goliath
expensive,
bullshit makes it a 19.
Yeah, with minimal effort, you get your well calloused fingers in just a slight crevice and just
The
manage
biggest
to
effort.
lever it up.
The biggest effort is finding a crevice for my fat fingers.
And what you find underneath is a relatively thick, maybe about so thick, leather-bound book with heavily aged parchment contained within the bindings. A quick kind of scan, not fully opening it, but just looking through. Not all of the parchment is the same age, the same type, or the same cut. It seems to be a collection of pieces of paper, all kind of bound together and held in this book.
Looks old and potentially delicate. I don't think I'm going to touch it. I read, I've got intelligence, but I'm not an expert in this. I'm going to leave this to Tauri. I'm just going to kind of set it on the altar while I look around, do a quick another check, and then presumably see nothing else.
Yeah, you take in...
Is this another Balrick trick?
You take
You
in...
pretend you can read?
You do take a
I can
look
read,
around.
but why don't you have a look, Tauri?
There's two... You do find also underneath this flagstone a small... on a metal chain, a gold chain, a piece of green and white jade carved into a small dragon's tail. Pendant that you would expect someone of the faith to wear. That was also tucked down here. And also with a 20, you do find a small bronze bowl with delicate etchings of a dragon running around on the inside that seem to have avoided the destruction in here. You can kind of just note down you have a prayer bowl that, if you were to put a monetary value on it, would probably be worth somewhere in the region of 15 to 20 gold pieces for the craftsmanship put into it.
Would be quite tricky to sell. Why have you got this thing from a church?
Is that both of them have the same value? You said there's two things.
The jade pendant would definitely have a lot of value based on the craftsmanship and the like. This thing is probably worth 50 gold if it were to be sold, but due to the placement of it with the book, you assume it is someone's personal property, and like deeply, it's a personal item, which probably has more value to them than just the pure technical quality.
Cool.
I just got reminded of 3rd edition's appraisal skill, which was a skill that you rolled to determine how much stuff was worth. Just as a flashback to a weirdly pointless skill. Anyway.
Yeah, one of those little jeweler's eyeglasses.
I do a check of the church, make sure there's nothing else, no secret exits or anything, and then I come back outside.
Regroup.
Cloak over the book, protect it from the rain, and wait by the wagon for Tauri to return.
Yeah, it doesn't take long before everyone kind of meets back up at that point.
Perfect timing.
What we will do is we will
let's
circle
meet
back to Bast,
Hey.
who, as you step out of the church and gives you silent treatment for a little while, eventually Bast comes back. Something's been bothering me.
Oh, yeah?
There are myths spoken about of creatures fashioned by demons from the broken remains of humans. That creature we saw, it smelt broken.
You think someone's trying to make demons with corpses?
I'm not informed. These creatures are of fell creation.
Right.
Perhaps your bookish friend knows more.
Hey, Tauri,
Yes.
if I was to say something like, maybe that thing over there, and I point back to the
Halfway
not
down,
the one under the top,
halfway
but
down the hill outside the like the other side of town. Tauri didn't see this thing.
Yeah. If I was to say something like, what if somebody was putting like demons in people? What would that sort of trigger for you, I guess?
Can I have a think?
Roll me a religion
Actually,
check.
hang on.
Go on.
I spent 10 minutes running up the hill to go grab the body
Okay.
and bring it back down again. Here we go, this is the one.
Okay. Can I have a look at the body and then?
Sure. It is a terrifying thing to behold. Like, this thing is has had a vivisection done by Arquen, which means its guts are halfway falling out after Ximori dragged it up here.
A very, very good one. I roll real
Yeah.
good for that.
But it's still an open wound, and Ximori's just dragged it up. But yeah, this thing is like a thing out of nightmares. Like, it's inherently terrifying. But roll me history or religion, your choice.
I'm standing over it like,
Okay, I'm going to make it history. Cause
I will
religion.
say this just to clearly delineate between the two. History will give you more like folklore. Religion might give you more esoteric. It's up to you what you go for.
I can't do one than the other. No. I'll do history because I am better at history than religion.
That's fine.
I get a 19.
A 19. Looking at this creature and
Unless there's anything I can add on.
looking at this creature, the nature of this attack, the bits and pieces that you've captured in other conversations with the party, there are stories of sadistic and cruel humans who live on the outskirts of society. As much as the Empire is an extremely safe place to live due to its general size and everything, safety is still confined to towns, by and large. And on the outskirts of that, things happen. But there are stories of these cruel humanoids that delight in dealing pain, delight in terrifying people to the point of terrifying them to death. And these stories talk of them being seemingly able to ignore and shrug off wounds that would weaken, debilitate other men as they cruise through armoured town guards and the like. Again, you will perhaps read these and went, these are tales to keep children in at night kind of thing, like the proper spooky stories, but like a lot of this lines up. And like the descriptions of pale skin, the teeth of predators and animals, all kind of links up.
So everything I knew was this was creepy tales to stop children disobeying their parents. So, yay, they're not.
I mean, the little one listened to their parents and they seem alright. I mean, aside the trauma.
Tauri, what I will give you, in the language of the Empire, colloquially, these humanoid creatures are known as Vashar. Vashar.
Happy note taker face.
Can I do a detect magic on the body in front of me?
Can
if there's
indeed.
Anything emanating from that.
You cast Detect Magic, looking down at the body. It is a corpse. It shows no sign of magic.
Okay, that's kind of what I expected, but...
Yeah, it's an entirely reasonable thing to check.
So, yeah, I didn't know where we go from here, other than these are apparently children's creepy nightmare things.
I mean, there's movement up to the north, like the tree line there. That could be something.
Aderyn pops her head out at this
Actually,
point and mentions that Hirosa came from the tree line to the north. What you spotted was her returning to the village.
Okay. Right, hang on. Let me get a good look around and see what might be going on. And I turn towards the church.
I think this
Sort of very gingerly, sort of...
Look to the foothills.
I think this might be
Very gingerly sort of reach out towards it, like...
as Ximori begins to Assassin's Creed this. I think that's maybe when Balrick comes out and comes up to Tauri like, found something.
And there is where we're going to take a quick break. And we'll pick up this story in a little bit. We will pick up as Balrick wandering back out of the chapel holding a fairly beaten, old-looking leather book, among other things, just as Ximori is touching onto the side of the chapel and again immediately getting pins and needles from touching the thing.
Right, I won't be climbing that. I didn't know if it was like inside or just the outside as well. It doesn't matter. I'm not climbing that.
Ximori, you alright?
Yep. Can't find a good foothold.
Ah. Of course.
We're gonna go hunt a thing.
Do you want to
Yes. Yeah, why not, actually?
Ximori, roll me deception.
Damn. 8.
We do a little unnatural 20.
Ximori?
I'm lying out my fucking teeth. I got an 8.
I go like, there's one. Yeah, if you go there and then up to there, and then you can leave
mate,
from there,
it's,
can't you?
it's broken in it.
No, it isn't. I glanced up.
Really?
Make me an athletics check.
What? Another unnatural 20.
Doesn't take long. Eventually climbs up.
I'm already up here, so I guess I'll go.
You do it while you're up there.
I will say, those of you who are Empire people, climbing a church. It's a little off.
It's been desecrated.
I mean, the one who suggested it is arguably the most religious.
Yeah, but also, like, how churchy is it at this point? It's been very attacked.
Roll me an insight check on yourself.
I mean, I just stole relics, so...
Wait, you did what? They're not
Anyway.
looting, Balrick.
I haven't said that out loud. I'm not
Yeah.
for money reasons.
I peer through the mists.
Yeah, roll me a
Describe the location of some Nazis.
roll me survival or perception, your choice.
I'm going for perception, if that's all right. Not amazing. Only an 18.
18. What you spot are the tracks that are going in and out of the town. Even from this high vantage point, they appear to be fairly heavy footprints leading in, and then leading out are the signs of carts being dragged that head off into the mountains.
Yeah. Presumably, it's sort of like when they were coming in, it was more like spread out, like, and then going out was like, well, we've got what we came for, and we've got heavy carts and shit. Whoop.
Yep.
It's like, there! I, like, point. And I will return down the slope, the building. Okay.
Lead on.
I will mount up on Mortimer.
I'm sorry,
Who I
what
am
was happening with
slowly
the book?
bonding
That was where we actually left
with-
off.
with the what?
Balrick had a book and was handing it to Tauri.
I think. Oh, right.
If
thought
I've
you
got
said-
a book, I will.
I come over, I hand the book to Tauri. I've got the. It's a small bowl and an amulet. Yep. I'll hand the book off to Tauri under the cover of the wagon. Get in the wagon, and I'm gonna talk to Hirosa.
Yeah.
Hirosa about the amulet and see if I can figure out who it is. But book first, by all means.
Cool. I will look at the book.
Roll me history check.
Uh, 19.
This book looks familiar. You saw it probably at this point about 2 weeks ago. Bishop Tauri Cyric had found it and was talking you through some various passages on it.
This is something we knew prior to this point, but I think all of us had forgotten.
This was you doing research at the church, and Tauri, you stole stuff from this book. Don't think you'd forgotten this at all. You weren't there.
No, as people, we forgot.
Yeah, we forgot. Yeah, you mentioned a priest turned up, and we were like, "Oh yeah, priest turned up."
We knew
oh, no,
it was
yeah,
that
we knew
one,
that priest
but
turned
then we
up.
completely forgot about it, and I was
Yes.
like, a visiting
that's right.
priest, I wonder who that could be. And I was like, oh fuck.
Oh dear. I will mention it to everyone and then go, did we find a body to go with the book?
Not in.
So you mentioned it's probably the bishop's one. Well, I mean that means that I don't need to ask Ross anymore, doesn't it? I can go, oh, well, that probably means that these items are his as well.
More
No bodies.
could
I
be
mean,
a-
is the priest? I mean, has anyone else seen the priest that you've got under the tapestry? So I know Arquen wouldn't have recognised the bishop. But,
I know it's not the bishop.
okay, thank you, Ximori. Right.
might be something to keep an eye out for then.
So he's gone. Hopefully, he's made it out then.
Hopefully.
Hey. I didn't find any other escape routes from the church, so I think anyone who's fled has just fled.
Or been captured.
I mean, I take a look around at the time and I'm like, I don't look like they're the capturing type.
Yeah, no, if these are anything like I would have been then, I wouldn't take anybody. I'd just kind of,
They took things.
take what I wanted out of it. I wouldn't take people.
But what if they
People are
want
too
people?
awkward to transport.
What if they
No,
want
they're too
people?
awkward. I don't think they did, otherwise they would have taken the guards. If you're gonna get a bunch of armor and weapons and stuff, you're not gonna then just slap that on a farm person. You're
Well,
there to
no.
train up,
I don't mean they were taking them for recruitment.
I want for eating them.
Yes. Well, I
No,
say
you don't.
outside of here.
No, you don't want to take them back like this.
They took wagons.
Yeah, but I don't know, it seems a waste.
Does it?
Kinda.
Believe it
Something
seems the
like this, you
opposite.
don't get a whole lot of food off this. I'm talking weird again, aren't I?
I'm right there with you. All I'm saying is I think they've probably taken captives. because I don't think this many there's more people that lived here than there are bodies, and I don't think that many people could have made it out.
Right, there are. Well, start looking around at the rest of the buildings.
Well, yeah. See, if you imagine about between 2 and 4 per building, 5 and some.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, they probably took some people. Also, that means they could torture them at home.
Has
it's like fun for later.
Or make more.
I was going to say, has Tauri told us the information about these ghost story creatures?
I would have done, yeah.
So they make them? What's the...
Make, possess, I mean... Tales...
I want to be... just to clarify, the folktales are just about sadistic humanoids that live on the edge of towns. It's Ximori's side of things that had something to do with creating from broken. That came from Bath.
Yeah, I suppose if I was going to try and find some broken people, the easiest thing to do would be to take them from an already bad situation and then kind of break them more. That's the...
You see where I'm getting at.
I see where you're getting at now. That is not good. That is in many ways very bad.
I mount up on Mortimer.
There's another situation we're going to have to get involved in.
I mean, if we don't, then we're probably going to be letting a whole bunch of people have really horrible stuff happen to them.
Yeah, I know.
Hypothetical. We send Hirosa and the child back on one of the horses to muster the guard from the bridge.
I mean,
far
yeah, they're
away.
not coming with us.
No.
Hey, that's a good idea. We have one horse yet to be named and claimed, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I will get up on
I'm going to grab the last horse to be named.
It's been named. Sorry, gang.
I was going to name it.
You've named too much.
I was going to call it horse, but in Goliath.
This is horse.
Called Siak. But if you've got a name,
My friend, big fucking horse.
BFH. Yeah.
Classic BFH.
Buffer. It's Buffer.
Yeah. Buffer.
Buffer.
He does not like it when you shorten his name.
Buffer, faster than lightning.
Do you reckon, Lesley? Do you reckon Buffer will carry them back to the bridge?
What do you think, big fucking horse? Horse is literally nothing.
I've spent quite a long time trying to bond with Mortimer.
Wait, is that getting doing a horse look?
We did have it. We had it a few minutes ago. I think it's just performance anxiety.
Are you muted, Gethin?
You are muted.
I was saying it was the best way I could do a horse's side-eye thing without having prey eyes, I was like,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
How do I give a side eye as a horse? Other GM questions you may be interested to learn about.
I'm going to do a video.
I will
of the way a
give.
horse,
Yeah, I've already given the child my. I've already given the child my blanket and given him some rations and then.
2 silver pieces, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Still have those.
I've got 2 gold pieces.
I want to say how much was a room the bridge?
1 gold.
Wasn't it gold? It was
5 silver.
Food and board.
I don't have my notes.
I mean, we could just give him a gold.
I'll give her a gold.
Okay, you can give him a gold.
It's not right that Arquen has any money ever. I've decided. Lesley's just so...
I have 1 gold.
I've got 2.
I started this game with 10 gold. I've earned none.
Fantasy debt. Fantasy debt.
Leslie's not one to talk.
Yeah. Leslie's happy with his
Do you
fantasy
want to
debt.
know how much debt Leslie's in?
I heard several times that it's in the
153.
500s.
On what?
On two very nice swords.
Why
It's
the-
like my
Oh,
decent
okay.
loan, you
He's
know?
only got one of right now, but he's going to have the second one eventually.
That's
Hey.
true. That's true.
When we go back to that city
Yeah,
eventually.
take money at a certain point.
Oh, fuck it. I'll give her the rest of my gold.
Yes, see?
The rest of my gold being 1 gold.
Negative 500.
There we go. Right. I've got nothing. That feels good.
It's like it was
Feels
weighing
better.
me down.
You feel
Better than
lighter.
having a gold on.
Lighter now. Just
He's a
like,
Yeah.
penniless soldier. He's a penniless folk hero.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're a fair sort of. You're fair, Jason. And these gold coins have been like cheapened and diluted with
Well,
pain. And
What they literally are, I'm imagining, is grave coins, like they're from a grave hoard, from an old barrow.
I was just going to say that they've been diluted with iron. They're just gold plated, and obviously phase and iron
gotta get rid of them.
just doesn't work. It's been.
I don't
just
know
often
if you
doesn't
can
like
do a
bats.
gold. Gold plating is a very specific process, which I don't think you like. I don't think the people that I'd get my gold from would know about. Anyway,
You're too much of a nerd. Stop it with
metallurgy
the nerd. Let us have these
aside,
jokes. Stop
Says the
fact-checking.
teacher to the.
Stop fact checking all of our jokes.
anyway,
They wouldn't hold a long sword like that.
yeah, I imagine they are literally like, stamped with an ancient king of old, a king of old like face. And just like,
I'm already on my horse and like
Is this,
halfway out of town.
like, it's real gold, so that's legal tender.
I swear there are more of them coming
Right.
with me.
We are the Wild Hunt.
Do you head off
Right,
into the mountains?
mounted up on horses.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is there any chance that while all of this was happening, people were finding flagstones and leather and beads and having their insides talking to them?
Very BDSM kind of time.
Is it possible that Lesley could have like dug a wee grave, like a wee hole, for the miners, if he's vaguely in eyeshot of, and also respectfully checked through his pockets to see if there was anything.
You got any cash? You got any cash?
Respectfully looted him.
Respectfully.
So, laid to rest. Give me your stuff, give me your stuff, give me your stuff.
I will give you that. No. There is nothing of value in their pockets because
Oh, a
this-
gold
this-
tooth.
This
Okay,
has happened.
There's
at
no way
night.
to respectfully loot.
It's not like they had a gold pouch on them while they were sleeping. What you do find is
Like a wedding ring or something.
literally what I was about to say. You do find his wedding ring, which conventionally for people who aren't wealthy and therefore aren't necessarily able to afford gold and silver, is generally made out of a polished stone of some kind.
Cool. Lesley is when Arquen goes to give her the last of like all of his worldly money, he is going to hand it to Arquen to like subtly give to her. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but
And this.
we'll get the kid doesn't see it.
She turns to just.
Yeah, sort of make sure she's mounted up and on her way before leaving.
Leslie's going to smack the butt of a big fucking horse.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Can't speak with animals, like you get them there safely, okay? Be a big fucking horse.
All right,
Buffer.
I got this.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I
My
do.
name is David.
I was just... Ian.
Don't have any coconuts at my desk.
I was destined to be a show horse.
With that, let's go.
So you head up, following the trail into the Mora foothills. At this point, you've probably spent enough an hour or so around town and the like, so you're pretty much in the middle of the day at the point you head in. So you've got a good few hours of daylight still to make your tracking. We're going to run this as a group skill challenge. So, I would like someone to lead. Who is going to lead the tracking?
Balrick, the mountains are yours.
I will. I can lead the tracking if you want. Someone else is riding the wagon, then I will have to be on foot.
So,
or we should give it to Arquen for hunting.
I am a tracker.
So the way I'm going to run this,
he is a tracker.
Is I'm going to run this akin to how Daggerheart runs group skill challenges. Each of you, so one person will lead this challenge. So they're fundamentally the person who is leading the tracking, leading the charge through the mountains, as it were. Your Aragorn, for lack of a better term. They, because of the nature of the skill check, will be making survival checks. Each of you, the rest of the party, can do something to help them. Up to you what that is. We'll figure out what skill check it is. Just one reasonable, logical method of being helpful. If you succeed on your skill check, Arquen has advantage on one of their survival checks. If you fail on it, they have disadvantage on a different survival check. There are going to be a number of survival checks for Arquen, for Balrick to make as you trek through. And so advantage and disadvantage will then apply on these subsequent skill checks. So, those of you who are helping...
So I dismount off the wagon. Who taking up the wagon is a big one.
You taking the wagon with you into the foothills, yeah?
Oh, well, Aderyn's in the wagon.
As far as we can.
Yeah, as far as we can.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be what I do to help them. Then
Right.
I'll be using my horrifying strength to help move the wagon along in places and clear the way.
Make me an athletics check as this first part of the trek begins to get through, as you have to... Because it's very clear there isn't really there are initially some paths to work up, like up to the mining areas, but then beyond that, the paths begin to disappear.
16.
16. That is a success. As it is difficult to get a wagon that is designed for the road up essentially mining tracks, which are designed for kind of more robust carts, smaller carts as well. But with Ximori's help from the back to drive the wagon on when it needs to, you do successfully make decent time. Balrick, please make me a survival check as you attempt to track these people through the foothills.
19.
19. As you're following through, eventually you get to where the mines appear to be set. Clearly shuttered up. No sign of anyone working there in the last 12 hours. But the tracks lead on. They don't enter the mines at this point. They almost seem uninterested in the mines at this point. Eventually, a small gulch comes up ahead that the tracks seem to lead through. A small rocky gulch. Most of the foothills here are relatively earthen, but a few kind of outcrops of bare stone here and there. And the tracks lead through this gulch. It is a narrow passageway that your brain screams if you took the wagon through this, it would be a dead ambush. Just to how slow, it would be very tight and you'd be moving through very slowly.
Like, during this, Arquen has been essentially, on his horse, doing basically acting as a bit of a screening force, just so Balrick can focus on just looking at the tracks and identifying them in the security of knowing that Arquen now sort of hunting for anything that could be lying in wait. I imagine can I do a perception check just to see if there is indeed like either an ambush or a lookout or something?
Certainly.
Being it is, he's sort of looking at it like, yeah, that's where I would do it.
Make me a perception check.
24.
24. Yeah, some instinct comes to you of just like, yeah, I would weaponize this in some way. And you're scanning along the kind of sides of this gulch, and your brain very quickly goes, nah, it's too steep. There's not a spot that you could realistically hide up there with a good enough footing to launch an ambush. But your brain then just goes, yeah, but I'd leave something in case anyone was following. I'd want to deter anyone from trying to continue to trail us. And your eyes pick out, just as the guys at the back are debating whether to bring the wagon through or not, your eyes kind of catch up, and you see, hidden underneath like loose rock here and there, small bits of what pointed out is the rust, more than anything, of rusted metal hidden underneath loose shale.
As in, like caltrops or
from this distance,
or something.
It's hard to tell. They are relatively well hidden underneath the rock. You don't think it's caltrops, though. Yeah. You need a closer look to properly figure out what it is.
Yeah, I'll probably at Ximori, who'd be the closest one, and sort of with my sword sort of pointing to where the little area of rusted metal is, and sort of indicate that you go one way around and me go the other way around.
Yep, I'll follow what I've been told to do.
Head around, and as you get closer to them, it becomes clear that what they're more like is bear traps. Very much designed to maim and injure.
Yeah. And trap.
Right. I'm going to bring out my glaive, and just from a distance, just tink.
Yeah.
Tink.
Okay. Make me... Let's call it an attack roll.
Bear traps the face. Oh no, that's a natural one.
One just stuck on the end of the
natural one.
Right, here we go. I say putting my foot into one of them as I'm looking at another.
What happens is, as you go out and you tap it there, the ferocity at which it snaps, grabs the haft and pulls you, and you go stumbling into the field where there's other ones, at which point your leg slams into one, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please. Because of the natural one, I'm going to say disadvantage.
He does have +4. Can I use protection in some way to give him advantage?
I'll say he gets your aura, but the way that this happens, you're expecting him to just be fine with this. You're not kind of initially helping. The aura is there to help.
I'm attacking a still thing.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to fuck this up, I'll be honest.
So that is 18 with the aura.
18 with it. Would have been fine. You put your foot down, you feel the pressure plate sink, and you have to body roll, and you body roll through a couple of other ones and behind you. One of them slightly scrapes your leg, and eventually you roll out the side at Arquen's feet. And there is a burning sensation on the one on your leg, ever so slightly.
Oh.
That is an unusual method, but effective.
Thank you. It's entirely what I intended to do.
You missed one.
Balrick. Balrick. Large amounts of rusted metal in the body are good for you?
Not generally.
iron,
That's
isn't
what
it?
makes hair grow on your chest, lad.
Okay, I'm okay for the moment.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. I think I can deal with the injury. I think the disease aspect of it. I think that's something. If it comes up, Arquen's probably more suited to that.
I'll probably be fine.
Just keep.
If something goes wrong, I'll let you know.
Have you had your tetanus shot lately?
What's that? Why are you shooting my tetanus?
Your tittiness.
You need to. There's a tiny invisible creature that lives on your body that you need to have shot every now and then.
What?
It's called the tetanus.
Where is it? Start spinning around, trying to find the tetanus.
Or at least that's what I've heard in medical circles. I am a man of medicine.
Can I just get imagery? You two went round the gorge, the sides of the gorge, or into the gulch,
I believe
or into the gorge?
at the entrance, wasn't it?
Yeah, so you kind of like flanked as it starts getting narrower to that point, and we're like tapping out, and then Ximori got pulled in and had to reflexively bounce back out. Which does mean that the first like couple have been triggered, so you've got a bit further in you can get than you would have otherwise.
Oh, they did a lot of these.
I just start picking up rocks and chucking them into the open mouth.
You've not looked. We don't know if there's an ambush coming.
I've had a look. It does not look like there could be one. I believe they most likely will do patrols if they are indeed in this area, and then anything caught in the bear traps would be found and killed / eaten / recruited.
Do you reckon? I'm looking. It looks like difficult tracks for the wagon. What do you reckon? Do we leave it here or?
I'm half tempted that we leave it as a trap.
As long as the wagon stays safe.
As in, we leave nobody in the wagon. But if they do indeed do patrols through here...
Well, then we'll probably lose our wagon, won't we?
Well, no. What I obviously mean is that when they come for it, shit them up.
Oh, we set an ambush for them.
The hunters become the
I don't
hunters.
really want to wait around for them. It's
No.
miserable weather. How about, tell you what, you've decommissioned them bear traps, why don't we recommission them?
Now that I like.
Okay.
I assume Tauri's also in the wagon, actually keeping herself dry. Or is Tauri probably driving it, isn't she?
Yeah, if it's not you, Lesley, or Arquen.
Well, it's never Lesley trusted to drive the wagon. Well, Lesley tried driving the wagon, and I believe drifted.
I've only had 4 pints. It's all right.
I believe the last time I drove the wagon, Lesley managed to somehow drift. So,
On a fixed axle, that is impressive.
yeah.
Just driving the wagon.
Yeah, can we leave the wagon and set up the bear traps around it?
You can certainly try.
Is there a way to
And,
hide the wagon and still change where the bear traps are?
Move all the bear traps slightly to the left so they when they come through they're like, ow, fuck.
3 inches to the left.
So what?
If I remember, I have to disarm it by putting my hand here.
Make me a sleight of hand check to successfully be able to move these, and then you can tell me where you put them. Let's determine your ability to move them before you debate for half an hour.
I'll let someone else do that.
I will do it, especially. So I will do it, so I'm good at that. Decent at that. But especially because I am able to potentially cast the snare spell. But I can't, it's just not prepared.
No, you're not.
It's on the ranger spell list, and I'm just a
It's not magic.
No, it's not magic when Balrick casts snare. He just makes a snare.
Just make
Yeah,
It's just making the snare.
the material components of snare is a rope.
So what you mean is you're just making a trap?
I can tie a rope. So
What's
I
magic
know how to
about
make traps. I know how to make hunting traps. Can I get advantage?
That's not magic.
Or Arquen's helping me. So
I know.
Yeah, we'll say
I wrote
Arquen.
too.
Ooh, look at this.
Magic.
Lesley does know how to tie a rope, but it's mostly Shibari.
I was going to say, Lesley definitely knows how to tie ropes.
That's a 22.
22.
This is what you might call a combat lassoist.
Thanks to the advantage, actually. So I do need some guidance from Arquen. Maybe I'm just like
Arquen's
hiding
pointing them out for you. You're then successfully able to move them without triggering them.
He's helping me hide them, maybe as well.
The important thing you realise as you get up close to them is not only are they rusted, not well made, they're kind of like just beaten scraps of metal into the shape of a bear trap. They're also laced with a poison of some kind.
It is a very good job we avoided these.
Mm-hmm. All of us avoided.
Very avoided.
Oh.
Most avoided, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. None of it went in my body.
Did you,
I think I know if it went in my body.
did you get injured?
Ah,
Did you get cut?
They were asking
have a
about rust.
let me have a look. Hang on.
You have a small nick on the
Oh,
back of your
sure.
path that is like irritated, but it doesn't feel like it's set in.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Well, that's hardly an injury.
Tis but a scrap.
You know how poison works, don't you?
I mean, yeah, that's the weapon of cowards, but oh wait, is that what was on this?
I've not really got anything to help with poison at the moment.
It's fine. I'm feeling all right. I'm not poisoned.
But just keep us informed if anything feels different.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
I got a bit of a headache, but I've had that for a while. That was before all this.
Well, that's probably the voices. I can't imagine it's quiet in there.
Maybe it might be still might be a bit hungover.
Really?
That's also possible.
Just let us know if it gets worse.
Okay.
Yeah, we sort of hide the wagon, put the spare traps around it.
I put an alarm around it as well.
Oh, nice.
Anyone comes
While
in.
sitting on the traps, nice. What's the range on that for hearing it? Is it a mile?
It's a mile if it's inaudible. Otherwise, it's 60 feet.
Well, I imagine you went a mile then.
Yes.
Yeah. But so you'll know if the wagon gets tampered with. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Do we have like an umbrella or anything? Yeah.
We have a tarp for the cart, right?
A tarp. Yeah. This is Oregon Trail.
Covered.
It's Oregon Trail.
Lesley has a parasol, but it's not. It's not the same thing.
That's inside out and 2 miles away.
Had a parasol.
Behold, Leslie's glorious
anyway.
parasol.
I'm just imagining Aderyn is very grumpy in a poncho at the moment.
Aderyn's in her old woman dress again.
Very, very upset.
The
being out in the
tracks
rain.
lead out the other side of the gully. Balrick, with your initial survival check on this, it's clear that these tracks like to try and keep to the paths moving between hillsides and the like to stay relatively out of view. So you can either follow them directly through that, or you can potentially try to divert off and attempt other means of tracking them. It is up to you.
I think it's best to stay with the path that we see.
Okay. Who is helping this next section of the tracking?
So what's the environment like now?
So
gone
you've moved through that
gullet,
rocky gulch. It's now kind of returned back to kind of earthen element. You're still kind of slightly in a valley, so it's getting slightly boggier down here, which is making tracking at least a little easier. As the earth is relatively soft down here. There's a few like mossy waterfall-like rivulets at various points coming down from the hillside.
If nobody's got anything other, I'll keep doing my cavalry screen, going up to rising of.
Are you still on your horse?
Yes.
Is anyone else on horses, or have they been left behind?
I guess I'm still on my horse. I've got the horse, so.
Big fucking horse is gone.
Yeah.
Maybe Aderyn can be on one of the horses, and then we've got the draft horses with us. We're taking all the horses with us because we don't want to leave them with the wagon as a trap. So.
Okay.
There you go. Aderyn can be on my horse then.
Roll me a perception check.
I'll be walking on foot.
Which the best yet, 26. Not rolled below a 16 for a perception check yet. No, I rolled a 10 at one point.
Fair enough.
Yes, that's 3 horses and your draft horse.
Yeah.
Four.
So there's 3 horses because big fucking horse went away. But there's three war horses and a draft horse. Riding horses. I imagine Aderyn can be is on Ximori's and has the draft horse tied to it, and then Tauri or Lesley is on another horse.
If it's between them, I guess. No, wait. Leslie's got like silks that will get ruined in this mud.
Get out of the way, Tauri.
Maybe Lesley can go. Lesley can go on the draft horse then next to Aderyn.
Not very elegant, is it? Leslie's running side saddle.
His face.
Arquen, with that perception roll,
Yes.
you tell me what element of the terrain and this tracking do you come across?
That's a very good question. I guess I am continuing to look out for hidden valleys, lookouts, obvious sort of locations that they might have gone to. Like this number of people can't literally disappear. And he has a little tingling in the back of his mind, I'm very sure, of sort of like where would I go? Like,
Sure.
I know how to hide a fairly significant force in rough terrain.
You're keeping a firm...
But the general idea... Sorry.
Go on.
I was just saying, so the general idea of what he's doing is making sure that there isn't anything like waiting ahead of them, so that Balrick can do the heavy work of actually tracking these sons of bitches.
At various points you end up steering away from your troop to kind of head up on a ridge, still perfectly in sight. Both group parties can see each other, kind of thing, to get more of a lay of the land, so that you're aware how deep you're heading into the foothills. And you're very conscious of the fact that you're not skirting anything. Like, this path is driving into the heart of the foothills. Balrick, make me a survival check with advantage. It's Balrick making the survival check.
12. Not great, this one. There's a 5 and a 6 on the dice.
12. As you're travelling through, you just start to get a bad feeling. Like you're being led, and the bristles on your neck start picking up as Arquen is a little way up on a ridge, starting to head back down from an initial scout. As you're heading around the bend, as the path takes it kind of the opposite direction to where Arquen is, separating you a little bit. As you come around the bend, up ahead, you come across 3 wooden stakes, on which, wrapped in hook chains, sorry, 3 wooden stakes, on which, suspended above, wrapped in hooked chains, are 3 humans, or at least they once were, long dead, bits of flesh ripped away by scavenger birds in places. And hung between the stakes, gently swinging in the breeze, is a wooden board with a message painted in some paste of some kind. Who here speaks Abyssal?
Abyssal?
Ximori. To
I
you,
would think to use comprehend languages.
this reads, "Enter prey. Pain awaits."
One more, sorry.
It reads, "Enter prey. Pain awaits."
Prey, pray.
Mm-hmm.
Enter, pray, pain awaits.
Like
Not,
Prey, pray, not Pray.
it's not eat, pray, love. It's the other one.
No, it is. Eat the prey and then love yourself.
Eat, pray, love. Eat, so enter, pray, pain awaits.
Before you have
And we have the same
chance
conversation.
to respond to what Ximori says, there is a guttural shout. Kuntak! Ximori, you catch that out as, "Kill them!" As 4 figures leap down from around hidden rocks up above you to the side of you, and wearing plated, brutish-looking armor, wielding hooked and barbed serrated weapons and whips, 4 pale humanoids rush down towards you. And that is where we'll pick up next time. So, we will pick up this story next time. But until then, see you later.